Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be doing the team building guide for the AGL Bardock EZA that is coming out on Global tomorrow morning. The time that this guide goes up, it'll be 10 PM UK time, which means that the EZA event will be out in 9.5 hours time. It's the usual time events come out on Global, so if you're a global player, you'll be used to that particular time, but if you're watching the video as soon as it goes up, it is 9.5 hours after this video goes up. I will be live 9 hours after the video goes up for the early Dokkan stream at the usual time, get everything set up, and then we will of course do the EZA live on the stream and then do some unit testing as well. So it's a typical 30-stage EZA. You can see you go through all the 30 stages, get yourself all of the medals in order to awaken Bardock up to level 140 max SA 15. Fully upgraded passive and everything. You get some AGL orbs, 11 AGL Grand Kais, which is always nice. It's always nice you get more than you need for these, because obviously you only need 5 to get them to SA 15. 30 stones, and then of course there's always the missions. Very straightforward as long as you're using the actual team that you should be. I mean, the mission, you literally only need to have one Terrifying Conqueror's character, and then that's 4 stones there. So 34 stones in total. And the interesting thing about this one is there's no typing restriction. It is literally just super types. So you only want to use extreme types, but even STR, obviously they're going to have type disadvantage. So if they're not critting, it's not like they're going to do crazy damage, but no typings get the extra massive damage reduction. So STR units, if they're getting crits, will still do good damage to Bardock. And the special category is Terrifying Conquerors. So Terrifying Conquerors is a decently sized category. Funnily enough, all extreme class characters anyway. So we'll be going through, as we always do in my team building guides, top picks and honorable mentions for making a team in order to get this done as quickly and easy as possible. If there's any units you think I missed out or should have talked more about, do let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, if you find the guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we are going to jump in straight away with the AGL Frieza. Of course, as they do with pretty much every major celebration, the main EZA that comes out is usually weak to the new character that's just come out for that celebration if you have pulled them. Because obviously Frieza, whilst he doesn't have planetary destruction, he doesn't have Terrifying Conquerors as one of his actual leader skills. It's Planetary Destruction or Space Traveling Warriors. Terrifying Conquerors is one of his plus 30%. He gets buffs by having Terrifying Conquerors allies on the team. So obviously a lot of the units you're going to want to put on his team are Terrifying Conquerors anyway. And then of course, because there is a low class warrior enemy, he gets a guaranteed additional super attack. And a additional 100% attack and 50% chance to crit. It's pure Saiyan enemy, he gets the extra attack, sorry. Low class warrior is the attack buff. So this Frieza will absolutely destroy this Bardock EZA. If you didn't pull him, you obviously can build a team in such a way that you're able to use Frieza as a friend. Of course, not a lot of people summon for Frieza, so it'll be kind of difficult to find Frieza friends potentially, but Frieza will be very, very good for the event. But of course, it's not absolutely necessary that you have him. We have some of these older units like STR LR Cooler. Despite being type disadvantage, of course, Cooler is a very powerful unit. He can do lots of attacks. Obviously, a good build for him is to give him a lot of crit. He's able to do tons of damage, and even though he has type disadvantage, he will be able to push through. And the only real scary thing for him is going to be if he takes a super in the later stages. But even in that sense, or in that situation, if he gets enough additional 12 key supers, he's going to have pretty high raw defense anyway. And EZAs aren't the craziest of events, right? So there is a possibility, if he does enough supers, he would probably live a super attack even on stage 30. So he's a good option. He gives the 200% to transformation boost. So you can make a very, very strong team with him as a leader. Then we have the old school STR Cooler, the TUR. He leads Terrifying Conquerors for 170%. No 200% lead, but obviously more than good enough, especially if you're running a 200% friend leader. This guy, very, very good. If you're fighting one enemy, he buffs Transformation Boost allies, which a lot of the characters on his team are Terrifying Conquerors and Transformation Boost, including the STR LR Cooler, who of course these two together go incredibly well. Very, very powerful. And then because we're fighting a pure Saiyan enemy, you can transform him on turn 3 into the final form Cooler. And then he'll probably just be able to finish off Bardock on that turn, because he gets guaranteed crits against pure Saiyan enemies, does a couple of attacks, like he can do a lot of damage. So you can pretty much just transform him on turn 3 and have him kill Bardock most of the time. So Very, very good option. Then we have the Int Piccolo Jr. He's a Terrifying Conquerors leader. Battle of Fate or World Tournament at his plus 30%. He's a very solid unit, especially first turn. You can put him in slot 1. Takes a hit, gets a bit of build up, does a bunch of additionals, can do loads of damage. Has big bad bosses. He doesn't fit super well on some of these teams with some of the other extreme characters, but just as a standalone unit, like his performance is very, very good. And for something like an EZA, which, as we always say, it's not as difficult as some of these endgame content events, Piccolo will still be very, very effective. The only downside, like I say, will be how well he's linking with other units that you're potentially bringing on the team. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's got big bad bosses, he's got fierce battle, he's got things like First for Conquest, so he can be decent on the teams and certainly put out a solid amount of damage, even when not in his optimal situation, right? So then next up we have Captain Ginyu. Now Captain Ginyu was removed from Frieza's banner, so if you did summon, you weren't able to get extra copies of him there, and also that means he's not in the red coin shop, but he's a much older unit. If you have him, he also leads Terrifying Conquerors and then has Space Traveling Warriors. So funnily enough, like the new Frieza is on his 200% lead, so you could run him, could run Frieza as a friend, and then just run a full Terrifying Conquerors team. The Ginyu Force units are a good option if you're a newer player anyway, like having the full free-to-play Ginyu Force fully EZA'd. They can be very good for this event in terms of, at least for a free-to-play team, right? Might be a little bit of a struggle as you get closer to the end, but of course you can bring a strong friend leader as well. So Ginyu definitely can get it done if needs be. Then we have the AGL Golden Frieza, so he's probably going to be one of the go-to defensive units for this team. He loses damage reduction as the event goes on in length, but EZAs normally never go longer than like 3 or 4 turns, so this guy's never really going to get to the point where he's going to be able to take very much damage. He can always throw out an additional super or two, so he can do some alright damage himself, but he's mainly going to be there on the team to be a defensive unit. But he is certainly a very solid option. You can only use units, one unit on the team with the same name in EZAs, but this guy's definitely the best option for a Golden Frieza for this event. Otherwise, you do have the Tech one or the AGL one that are very strong tanks. It's funny because this EZA came out on JP after the anniversary, whereas there's the new Int Golden Frieza, who is the Super Boss's support character, but he doesn't fit super well on this team build, and obviously we don't have him on Global at the moment anyway. So then we have LR Baby. So LR Baby with his EZA can still be really good in content like this that's not super difficult. He's getting the buff because we have a Pure Saiyan enemy, so he's able to do a pretty decent amount of damage. If you're on low health, he has extra dodge chance built in. He's just a very solid unit overall, and he's another big bad bosses character. Might not link as well with some of these other units, but big bad bosses, Thirst for Conquest, a link we already mentioned with the Piccolo and everything, so this guy fits in really well on the team, getting the buff from having a Pure Saiyan's enemy, so he is a very solid option for the team as well. He's also another one of these characters that's on Terrifying Conquerors and things like Space Traveling Warriors and Transformation Boost, so he fits on some of these 200% leader skills very well. Then we have the Metal Cooler. Now you can just straight up run this guy and run a full Wicked Bloodline team, because so many of the Freezer and Cooler units are on Terrifying Conquerors, so you could literally just run a straight up 200% Wicked Bloodline team. I think he's not on... Is he on Freezer's lead? He's not on... Planetary Destruction, or for some reason he's also not on Space Traveling Warriors, which is weird. So yeah, he's not on Frieza's team, so he wouldn't be able to run an AGL Frieza friend, but a full Wicked Bloodline team definitely would be able to get the job done here with either another Metal Cooler or an STR LR Cooler friend, and then throw all those other Wicked Bloodline Terrifying Conquerors units on the team, and then that will work very effectively. Then we have both of the free-to-play Ginyu Force cards. Obviously we talked about running the full free-to-play Ginyu Force team anyway, but these guys, especially the Tech one, does just buff extreme class allies, and of course has type advantage, so you could just throw this guy on the team as a support unit, who's just another unit on the team. He's an LR, got decent enough stats, type advantage, and then is buffing the extreme class allies. He does get extra attack and defense if there's Ginyu Force allies on the team, and then this guy does as well. So obviously if you don't have any other Ginyu Force allies, they're not going to be getting their full buffs, but they still will be able to be pretty decent and are giving all of this support. The physical ones, of course, as well, giving all allies 3 key, 30% attack and defense. I mean, the team's going to be full extreme anyway, but these guys can be decent support units to run on the team as well. Then we have a few Saiyan options depending on the leader skill you're running, they're not going to fit under some of the Wicked Bloodline characters full 200% leads. But we've got this Tech Giant Ape Vegeta. He can be a good unit in slot 1. He's got decent enough defense, especially with type advantage for something like an Extreme Z battle. So he's going to get hit in slot 1, get a bit of a buff. And then he's able to do relatively decent damage, has the Giant Ape active skill if you're ever at 40% or less HP. There's also the Tech Side Banner unit, the Nappa and Vegeta. I believe these guys were from the... was it the Gohan and Piccolo banner? These guys can be pretty good. They're built to be a slot 3 unit. They just float on the team, 30% damage reduction. They guard if there's another Terrifying Conqueror ally in the same turn. They can launch a bunch of super attacks. They have type advantage, so they will be very decent in this event if you have them as well. And then funnily enough, like, because this is a unit whose name includes Vegeta, and so is this guy, like if you have this guy from the Saiyan Day banner, King Vegeta is a Terrifying Conqueror who buffs pure Saiyans and Vegeta family. So he buffs those 2 previous units, right? So he'll be pretty decent. He's a solid and standalone like unit all of in and of himself, right? Hitting decently high attack stats. If you got the 3 rainbow orbs, he has decent damage reduction. So he's a quality unit. If you want to run some of these Saiyan characters, there's a few I didn't mention as honorable mentions, but we'll talk about them afterwards, that could definitely be pretty good on the team and get buffed by King Vegeta. So then we have this Tech Frieza Cooler. He is a free-to-play unit, 4th form Cooler. He is buffing Terrifying Conqueror allies 3 key and 30% attack and defense. He also gives them extra crit chance after he receives 5 attacks. If you're floating him in slot 3 as a support, you probably might not even see that happen if you're getting through the stages fairly quickly, but it's just another nice little unit with type advantage that's giving a little bit of support, and he's free to play, so he's an option that everyone can farm up and have on their team. Then we have the Chilled. Now he's getting his Super Strike revamp at the same time that all this stuff is coming out tomorrow. So if you want to do the Super Strike revamp first, then you'd be able to use him on the team. He's on that Frieza. I think is he on his 200% lead? Yeah, he is. So he could work really well on the team if you're running a bunch of the other Wicked Bloodline characters. I know most people like to just jump in and do the 30-stage EZA battles as quickly as possible, but if you do the Super Strike revamp first, you can use this guy on the team if you need that last unit to fill out your roster. Then we have Dodoria. He's the side banner unit for the Frieza, so if you did summon, you could potentially get him. He's buffing Inhuman Deeds allies, which covers a lot of these Friezas and like the Vegeta and Nappa and stuff like that, so they could definitely be supported by this guy. He could be pretty solid. He has guard if there's a Frieza on the rotation, so you don't even have to have the new Frieza, right? You can have the golden Frieza. There's like tech transforming Frieza. Like, there's a couple of units you could run on the team and still have this guy, and he'd be giving a decent bit of support as well as being solid enough himself. And then an honorable mention to the Demon Goddess Toa, the hero's character. She's a Terrifying Conquerors unit. She's just buffing all allies. She has the heal if you drop below 50% HP, as well as giving extreme characters a buff for that turn. So she can be very, very good as well. So when we look back at Terrifying Conquerors, there are a couple of other Saiyan units. We do have Vegeta, and I should have mentioned LR Vegeta and Nappa as well, because they actually have a different name from the tech one, so you can run them all together on the same team. There's obviously the Turleses, including the physical Turles. There's Raditz. Like these guys, you could put together basically a full pure Saiyan Terrifying Conquerors team and get the buffs with King Vegeta and things like that, and that would work out perfectly fine as well. LR Bojack could be decent. He has Space Traveling Warriors allies, so it would be a Rainbow Orb Changer. Metal Cooler or the Barbady are decent support units as well. The LR Turles army supports Terrifying Conquerors, although obviously they are type disadvantage. These guys got their EZA. We're not really running many other Majin Buu Saga characters, but they could certainly be a useful pick as well. A couple of other random heroes units on here. We got Rildo here. We got Mechikabra. We got Janemba, Baby Janemba. I don't know why I mentioned Rildo first. He's not a heroes character, but Demon Dabura. Like you could actually, I think, almost make a full heroes Terrifying Conquerors team, give or take 1 or 2 units. I think there might be enough. But yeah, so there's a lot of options for Terrifying Conquerors. Let me know what you guys are going to be doing down below in the comment section. Like I said, if there are any units you think I missed out or should have talked more about, do let me know, and let me know what your team build is going to look like for the AGL Bardock EZA in the comment section. And hopefully I will see you guys at the stream, where we will be doing the 30 stages live tomorrow when it comes out. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. have a good one.